everyone, I hope you are all doing great. Today's video is going to be about fun Summerween movies to watch. The movies I'm going to recommend are movies that I think are fun to see during the summertime. Each of these movies that I've chosen have their own unique sense of humor, which I love. Before we get started, I would just like to mention that in my last video, Summerween movies to watch, I had these guidelines on why I chose the movies that I do or did. For this video, one of the new guidelines is that these movies are creepy, scary, or gory, but they're also hilarious and have me laughing no matter how many times I see them. Just in case, I will link my video Summerween movies to watch in the description box down below. And I almost forgot to mention one thing. For numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, there are nudity, so I would definitely leave a link in the description box with parental guides on or from IMDb, but I just wanted to give you guys heads up, just in case you're watching the movie and you're like, oh my god. Just in case if you're uncomfortable with the nudity, I just wanted to give you guys heads up. But please, don't let that deter you from watching these movies. They're just incredible and extremely funny, in my opinion. So starting off with number 1, it's Tales from the Crypt, Demon Night. And spoiler alert, this one's number 2. The reason why I chose Tales from the Crypt, Demon Night as my first one is because it came out in 1995, and Tales from the Crypt, Bordello of Blood came out in 1996. I just adore anything that involves Tales from the Crypt, except the last season of their show, which is season 7. That one's just absolutely sucked. What I love about the Tales from the Crypt movies is that it still has the Tales from the Crypt sense of humor. I love how Tales from the Crypt Demon Night started as any Tales from the Crypt episode. I also love how a few minutes into the movie, there's this mini car chase scene, and the song playing is called Hey Man Nice Shot by Filter. And I think that song is just absolutely perfect for that scene because it's just such a badass scene and a great way to start a movie. One of my favorite quotes in this movie is when a character named Roach, played by Thomas Hayden Church, says to Billy Zane's character, the Collector, Vaya con Dios, which means go with God. And the Collector, who is played by Billy Zane, says to Roach, and a Vaya con Diablos to you too, sir, which means go with the guy downstairs, the devil. And it just makes me laugh because why would you say go with God to a demon? And it's just so funny that the Collector, Billy Zane's character, says, you know, go with the guy downstairs, which I thought was just so clever and so funny. Before I move on to number 2, I would just like to say that Billy Zane did an incredible job playing the villain. He was just so funny that I kept forgetting that he was the bad guy. So moving on to number 2, and it's Tales from the Crypt, Bordello of Blood, which came out in 1996, which on IMDb, if you write Tales from the Crypt, it won't pop up. The title is just Bordello of Blood. So I noticed in Bordello of Blood that there were a lot more jokes and a lot more nudity. So please don't let the nudity deter you from watching this movie. Unless you're under 18, then please watch this with a parent or guardian. But anyway, this movie was just a lot of laughs and it was just so much fun to watch it. And it was a blast and so awesome to see Chris Sarandon in this movie fighting vampires. Plus, it was also interesting and a bit funny to watch him play the character that he does. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I will say this. The ending, the first time I watched it, I thought that it was gonna be like a happy ending, and I should have known better, especially when it comes to Tales from the Crypt. Like, there's no happy ending, but oh my god, it was just such a good twist at the end, and it like blew my mind. After the first time I saw this movie, like a few days passed, and I still kept thinking of like the ending, and I just couldn't believe what happened. It completely caught me off guard. So moving on to number 3, and it's Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, which came out in 2010. I've watched this movie so many times that I've lost count. Some of the death scenes in this movie are just creative, original, and very traumatizing. Before I forget, I just want to tell you 2 timestamps in the movies that I think are just extremely funny. So if you see me looking down, I'm just reading a piece of paper that I wrote on. So I wrote, before I forget, about 19 minutes and 39 seconds into the movie, and 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 59 seconds left of the movie, If you look at the background, like on the right side of your TV, you can see a character named Chuck running in the background until it looks like he's almost about to fall, and then it cuts. The second timestamp would be about 29 minutes and 6 seconds into the movie and 59 minutes and 32 seconds left of the movie. You can see the college kids running for cover, but the character named Mike just kept running straight ahead. So I don't know if it was on purpose or an accident or if no one told the actor where to run to, but I just think you should look out for those timestamps because it's just so funny. So I just wanted to give you a heads up just in case if you're watching this movie for the first time, to keep a lookout during those two timestamps. I just love this movie so much. There are so many quotable quotes in this movie and there's so many funny scenes in Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. So we have a little guest here for number 4. This is my dog Yogi. So moving on to number 4, and it's the movie The Return of the Living Dead, which came out in 1985. So I have to give a shout out to my cousin Cindy for showing me this extremely underrated movie, and it should be considered a classic more often. After watching The Return of the Living Dead with Cindy, and 9 times out of 10 my cousin Nino was there too, but after watching the movie I understood why Cindy had such great things to say about it. If you see me looking down, I wrote down something that I wanted to say so I wouldn't forget it. So I wrote, now on to what makes this movie so funny, and it's a few of the characters. It's either the way they react to certain situations, the way they deliver their lines, and the lines that they have. There are so many great and funny quotes in this movie. But my favorite one of all time, and that I think about at least once or twice a month, is, "You think this is a effing costume? This is a way of life." The way he delivers the line is just so great, and it always stuck with me. So on to the 5th and final one, and that movie is Eight-Legged Freaks, which came out in 2002. The number one thing I have to say is that I've seen this movie over 8,000 times. And of course, I'm overreacting with the 8,000 number. I only chose 8,000 because of the movie title, Eight-Legged Freaks. But in reality, I've probably seen this movie over 1,000 times. Ever since I was a kid, this was my favorite movie. I noticed I watched this movie at least twice a year. Once during the summertime, which I watched it a few days ago, and the second time being in October. The comedy aspect of this film is a little out there, but everyone did a great job with their character and the way they interacted with the giant spiders. And of course, this movie will scare you and creep you out if you have arachnophobia, which I do. When I was rewatching it a few days ago with Yogi, I just kept fidgeting in my seat, and my hair, it tickled the back of my neck, and I just kept going, oh my god. And then like my arms would start itching, and then I would get paranoid and look at the ceiling and see if there's any spiders near me. And one thing I will say is that I read somewhere that they spent a lot on the quality of like the spiders, which you can tell because if you look at them you can see like the little hairs, and they just look so realistic, and I think they did an incredible job when it came to making the spiders. And one thing I would like to mention is that David Arquette, his character Chris McCormick, I just love how he's like screams. It's like such a unique, funny way of screaming. He interacts with this one character named Norman, and David Arquette's character named Chris McCormick is rushing Norman. He says, come on, come on, and then Norman just screams, hold on, you make me nervous. I don't want to scream out loud, but the way Norman delivered the line is my all-time favorite. From time to time when somebody is rushing me or I feel like I'm rushing myself, I always tell myself, you're making me nervous. So basically I'm making myself nervous. But that one quote always stuck with me ever since I first watched this movie. So that's all I have for today's video. I truly hope you enjoyed. Just in case, I will leave all the trailer links and the link to my video, the Summerween movies to watch, and along with the parental guide to all the movies in the description box down below. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but please do not let the nudity deter you from watching these movies unless you're under 18. Then watch the movies with a parent or guardian. Thank you so much for watching. I truly hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like the video, comment if you've seen any of these movies, and which horror movies do you see during the summertime, or which funny horror movies do you see during the summertime. And please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.